Anyway, guys, so it is 6 o'clock. Welcome to this episode of the Weekly Poll. It's myself, it's Joel, it is Tiffany, and Sal, I guess, went to the bathroom, so he will be back here in a second. Just told you guys my crazy story about the airport. Benny is currently in Virginia, and he's hanging out with the Valiant guys. And I have no idea where Faust is or what's going on with him. As far as I know, he's kind of taking a back seat to his modeling gig. Congrats to him, because I think modeling is a far more lucrative career field than making YouTube videos. So
and he's probably eating some chicken somewhere too, wherever he is.
Right.
So
this
I really
drumsticks for you, Faust.
I really hope it works out for him. But yeah, so we've actually got a pretty cool like mixed bag of topics, which I can't pull them up because of the Skype call. But we've got a pretty cool mixed bag of topics for today, which are actually pretty interesting. Combination of movies, TV shows, and so on and so forth. So, Joel, do you want to start us off?
I can do that. I can most certainly do that. I guess the first and biggest news story is, this December, we're going to be seeing a little Christmas movie this year. It's really popular. It doesn't star Jesus or Santa, but it stars Jedi, though. It's Rogue One. We got the trailer for it. It's coming. It's going to be a thing. Who's excited?
Dude, I am hyped. I am so hyped. I mean, because, okay, like here's I loved episode 7, but it just didn't feel Star Wars. And, oh, okay. I was like, well, now Tiffany is gone.
Tagging in, tagging out.
I loved episode 7, but it just didn't feel Star Wars because it didn't have Darth Vader, and it's going to take some time to adjust to that.
He's dead, you know.
Oh, I know he's dead. But, I was there when it happened. Believe it or not, I was in that galaxy, far, far away, yet somehow in the future. How did that Family Guy intro go? A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, yet somehow in the future.
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyway, so I loved it, but I'm used to Darth Vader. I'm used to that, James Earl Jones, hey, I'm Darth Vader. We're just gonna fuck some shit up. Like that's what we're gonna do because I'm Darth Vader and that's what I do, and don't mess with me because I'll rip your world to pieces. But at the same time,
I'm the toughest asthmatic in fiction.
Yeah. At the same time, like episode 7 was so good because it was a break away from the CGI, episodes 1, 2, and 3. And so this one I think is gonna feel like a Star Wars movie. That's how I look. I think it's gonna feel like a Star Wars film. So.
I think, well, it's funny. Having grown up with Star Wars and having been a Star Wars fan before there were prequels and even during a period when they were doing the re-releases, I'm used to a world where there is no Darth Vader in Star Wars. Like, I don't know about the rest of everybody. Like, everybody's like Rob, that mentality of like, there's no Darth Vader, ergo I don't feel like it's Star Warsy enough. Like, I get that because I think that a majority of Star Wars fans feel that way. And it's funny having like a very different perspective because I remember growing up in a world where they're like, who's going to be the next Darth Vader? Like Darth Vader being kind of like a sacred thing where he's like, Darth Vader's in 3 movies and that is it. And like every other story about him or about Star Wars is set after those movies. Like they didn't like the only other books that you got about Darth Vader were Splinter of the Mind's Eye and Shadows of the Empire, and Splinter of the Mind's Eye was like barely his book, and he's in it for
anything.
like, and Splinter of the Mind and Shadows is like the only one where you're like, yay, Darth Vader, and he's like doing Darth Vader-y things. He doesn't say a lot, and it's just kind of like there's no like oversaturation of the character, and so there were like the creators and the stewards of the Star Wars franchise were kind of like focused on creating someone else, which is why like I think people were like Thrawn so much because they're like, okay, here's a dude who's not like Vader and actually abjectly hates the dude. Like Thrawn's like, Vader killed his best admirals because he was pissed. What a terrible leader!
Like, don't win a war like that, idiot.
Exactly, and I'm like, and it was great because also like Vader was dead. He did these really cool things, and then at the end, murdered his master and became a good guy for 30 seconds. And you're just kind of like, and the Empire, as far as they know, don't even know that story. So they're all like galvanizing and celebrating Darth Vader. Those people like worshipped that guy. But as far as like his story goes, I think like you got a couple of terrible novels where Anakin's ghost would visit Leia and be like, "Forgive me for killing Alderaan." She's like, "No," and they're like, "He's like, okay," but like otherwise, you never really got any Vader, and I never thought I'd live in a world where not only would I get Vader, and I think that's why people like freaked out when like that other game, what was it called?
Force Unleashed.
The Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
Where you got The Force Unleashed, where Vader's in it, and they got the dude who played Chad Vader to do the voice because they never thought they'd ever get James Earl Jones again. Like, that's why when you got him very sparingly. Like, in a couple of Dark Forces games and in a couple of other video game adaptations, like, that's when you got Vader. But then we live in a world of Rebels where James Earl Jones is Vader again, and like,
which is
we're doing
amazing.
we're doing prequel movies now. Like, Vader's Vader forever. Like, we like, as long as James Earl Jones recorded the alphabet, we can make a new Star Wars movie until the end of time. Like, and it's great. Like, I am totally down because the way that they're using him, it's a world that I never thought I'd want to live in, but like, having seen what they're doing with him, it's totally okay. Like, that 1/10 of a second shot in that Rogue One trailer, where it's just like him breathing, you're like, yeah, oh!
Yeah.
But what I dig about Rogue One, from what I've seen, is that they definitely seem to be pushing the war aspect of Star Wars. You got rebels storming the space beaches of space Normandy, getting shot by Empire guys. I'm like, this looks pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm excited because it's like Battlefront.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
That's
taking everyone's favorite Star Wars thing
Yeah.
and then making a movie out of it.
Well, it makes sense because one, like, there's some great backstory there, but two, it's like, man, like that X-wing just got blown up. I wonder what the story is about that guy who was flying it. Like, did he have like a girl, or did he have kids, or like what was his deal, you know? And it's like, well, let's exploit that guy and find out. It's like, his name's Tim, and he was actually an asshole, but you know.
But you're like,
there's-
jeez.
Well, that's the thing, is that with the expanded universe, everybody's got a backstory. Did you know there's a scene in which, in Return of the Jedi, where Luke and Han are captive by Jabba the Hutt, and they're pushing Luke into the frame, and he is then matched with Han, who has been recently unfrozen from carbonite, and there's this puppet creature that looks like an elephant that like has a like genetic disorder, and Luke like passes it for a half second. Well, in a Kevin J. Anderson novel, like, Luke touched him and used the Force to influence him and give him information. Like, everyone has a backstory. Every character. There's only three for 30 years. There were only 3 movies and not a lot of stories. So we gotta mine it. Like, how about we explain who Zuckuss and Forlom are, and how about we explain what a Devorian is? It's not just a devil that they ran out of costumes for. No, there's a whole race of beings that look like
It's not just
Halloween
a werewolf
masks.
man.
Yeah, no, he's a character, and he has a race and a whole, like, Zuckuss, or no, not Zuckuss, Bosk is a Trandoshan who shares with Wookiees and is an actual predator who murders Wookiees. Like, that's a thing. He's just a lizard in an X-Wing costume.
Yeah.
Nah, man, he's got multiple paragraphs about him on the Wikipedia.
He's like an onion. He's got layers.
He does have layers.
Rich tapestry.
He has a longer Wikipedia article than, like, the Korean War.
Oh my God.
And I know it better than I know the Korean War.
I'm really excited to see a Grand Admiral.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, and I'm kind of wondering if they're going to show us more how the Empire actually functions.
Right?
And like the inner workings of that.
Yeah.
And like, I find that really cool. I don't know.
Mhm.
Big fan of the Empire in a weird way.
Yeah.
Well, no,
They
I mean,
get stuff done. The trains run on time.
Yeah, I really like their whole symbol, their branding. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
The uniforms, man, really slick
Yeah,
uniforms.
really,
Very
yeah.
Hugo Boss.
The little
Yeah.
hats, love it.
No, totally.
well, it makes
I'm
perfect
excited
sense.
Yeah. I'm excited there's no Jedi.
Yeah.
Well, the one dude was talking about the Force. I mean, we'll
He
get
can
lots
talk
of
about it all he
Force
wants.
Jumbo.
Even Han Solo says, "May the Force be with you." Like,
Yeah.
you can say that crap until the cows go home. I just don't want to see a single lightsaber.
Yeah.
I'm so done. I'm so sick of Jedi. I remember when we lived in a world where there were it was just Luke, and that's it. And then, like, and maybe Obi-Wan, who was super cool for 20 minutes.
Yep.
Like, now we got Mace Windu and Plo Koon and Kiadi Mundi
Okay,
and
just stop.
Yaddle.
Stop.
You got
Well, no, but-
1,000
okay.
Jedi, and they're all stupid.
But you got to remember, like, that was back during like the height of the Jedi era, when they were like everywhere, and then they all then
Right,
like
and
a ton
they
of
let
them died.
anyone be a Jedi,
Don't
especially the
forget
late
Kit
people.
Fisto.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting to me because by not having Jedi as like a center point, it forces them to focus on the war effort itself, and that's what I think was lacking from the Star Wars movies. Is it was cool to see Jedi running around, but it focused so much on the Jedi and what Luke Skywalker was doing because it was literally told from his perspective. He was the hero of the story. But it's like, what else was going on during this time? Like, what all was happening, in addition to what Luke was doing? And I think the great thing about Rogue One is we get the backstory to, the group that got the plans. And I guarantee you, like Rogue One is, and I'd be shocked if it didn't. Rogue One will end with Darth Vader's, ship attacking Princess Leia's, cruiser, and that will be
That'd
where
be
it cuts off.
awesome.
Because I mean, it wouldn't to me it wouldn't make any sense to do anything otherwise,
It's another thing about Rogue One, because this is a prequel to the movie we all know. All of these characters have to die in this one.
Except for Mon Mothma, and the person they got to play her is spectacular.
Looks just
it's
like
they
her.
went back in time.
Oh my God, it's
casting,
incredible.
Amazing casting on her.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
I'm kind of, I thought I recognized this dude's face, the guy who looks like a Grand Admiral, and I was like, oh, is that the dude from Dark Knight Rises? Is that Daggett from Dark Knight Rises? I looked him up. It is. It's Ben Mendelsohn.
Mendelsohn,
And it is the dude who's like, the attack on the stock exchange didn't work, Bane. I'm not running great enterprises. I'm like, cool. He's cool. He's a cool actor. I'm looking forward to seeing him do. You're like, these rebels need to die.
He's not gonna be like that.
No, it'll be cool.
See, now I hope he is. Now Sal's built it up too much. If he's not like that, I'm going to be disappointed in the movie theater.
Well,
Do
I'll
I
be
look like
honest.
I'm running the Empire right now, Darth Vader? Can't wait.
Dude, I'll be honest. When I first saw him, like when they showed that single scene where he was like standing on the bridge with his hands crossed, like I thought he was Tarkin.
Oh,
Like, that's who I
Right?
thought he was. Like I was like, dude, and it would have been cool if it was, but I was like, is that Tarkin? Like,
Got Tarkin in the cartoons.
I thought it was Thrawn. I thought they were like, let's bring Thrawn in,
Right? But
and then Rebels is like, no, we're using.
Yeah,
Thrawn.
Ron
got
had capes.
He did have a cape.
Did he have a cape?
Yeah.
I don't remember him. With a cape.
Grand
For
Admiral.
fancy occasions.
They don't have to have capes.
Well, they do. No, Thrawn didn't wear it all the time.
And I'll be honest, when he's trudging through that water, I could see why you may not.
I liked that
It looks
moment.
cool, but can you imagine that?
Oh yeah, he's like this.
It's
thing
just all
is-
clingy to you afterwards. You're
It's
like,
like this whole thing is just absorbs water.
I'm gonna,
It was like I'm wearing a towel.
I'm gonna need a new cape. New cape.
It's okay. Imperials have the best dry cleaners. This is
Oh,
known,
yeah.
Khaleesi.
I knew I
Apparently.
shouldn't
Here's
have worn
the
this
best
in this one.
outfits in general.
They do.
Like they just look awesome. They look way better than the First Order, who looks like they just raided the Imperial Salvation Army and just grabbed
They
everything.
probably
Yeah, it's very true.
Which is good.
Oh.
They should look like that. But
Yeah.
it's
What's
sad.
surplus? What do we got sitting around?
Yeah,
I'm wondering if Tarkin will be in this at all.
I think he will be.
He has to be, right?
I think you'll hear him. They'll use like a
Well-
deleted scene from A New Hope and just use his voice.
Ah, that'd be fun.
I mean,
Oh,
well,
like-
because remember, like he showed, and they were like, well, the governors are gonna have. So I would imagine he would just be like a political figure somewhere, or he would just be like a lower ranking individual alongside most everybody else, and then suddenly he's like the emperor. Because remember, like the empire dissolved. The emperor dissolving the imperial senate happened right around the time the movie first started.
Yeah, it happened.
So-
Like Tarkin entered the room, was like, "Yo, it just happened, bitches."
Yeah, like I'm running this
They
shit.
didn't get the note yet. Like they didn't even know. They're like, "Well, what about the governors?" Oh, well, no. The regional governors now have direct control over the system.
Yeah, that's
But,
quiet.
okay, so continuing with our topics.
Yes.
So what other topics do we have?
Well, here's an interesting piece. It's a story that we've all kind of been following for a bit. Tim Seeley, writer of Hack Slash and a bunch of other books that we quite enjoy. He's writing Nightwing right now for DC. He has signed an exclusive deal with DC Comics, which
Yeah.
precludes him from any other projects that he's working on, minus creator-owned and Vertigo stuff.
Okay.
This is big news, though, because if you remember, he was supposedly developing and on board with a new Blade Marvel series that would have focused on Blade's daughter and see Blade take the role of Whistler.
Yes.
Is that dead now? It sure
Oh.
sounds like it's dead.
Wait a
It
minute.
was
Hold
dead
on a second.
before we even.
But like, how easy is that to just hand off?
Yeah, he could just be like, "Here's the plot, go for it," or not.
Okay. Hold on one second, guys. Splooge.
That's
Splooge.
some splooges.
Somebody to resubscribe for 4 months in a row.
Oh,
By the
nice.
way, guys,
Nice.
we love it when you guys sub. It definitely it helps the
Thank
weekly
you.
pool to pay out to like Sal, Tiffany, and everybody. And basically, like it also makes it possible for us to provide you guys with like different emotes and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure we have like a splooge emote that's on its way. I think so that when people donate, you guys can just start spamming splooge when people
Do I
donate.
even want to know what the
It's gonna be out of
splooge emote's
control.
going to look
Yeah.
like?
Oh, it's. I mean, Twitch has to approve them. I'm pretty sure. So I think it's pretty Twitch safe. Well, relatively speaking to how safe Twitch can be, anyway. So, but anyway, yeah. So if it's something that you guys dig, it's a great way to support us, and we always love it when you guys do that. I'm sorry for interrupting. So go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's a good thing to interrupt for.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, it's funny, this Tim Seeley Blade thing. I remember talking to him literally at this time last year when he was at Fan Expo. I got him to sign my Grayson and everything, and I asked him some questions about his upcoming books, including the Blade one. And he seemed so gung-ho and so happy about it. He's like, yeah, it's going to be a great series. You know, I think at this point, you know, I'm pretty good at writing young girl fights monster books. If I didn't, I wouldn't be too good at my job. And to hear that it's just like, yep, it's just not happening now, or seemingly not happening now under him, is quite depressing in a way.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
DC is an exciting landscape for writers and creators
of
right
are.
now. I think so. Like, I don't blame him for
Neither do I.
Especially because like they've been stringing him along with this Blade book for a while anyway.
Yeah.
Since at least November. So I can imagine him being like, they're never gonna make this freaking Blade book.
Right.
I'm just gonna go. Maybe I'll do like another vampire or something.
Well,
Makes me wonder too, where it's like, look, Tim, we want you to do this book, but we also want to time it perfectly with the movie or the Netflix or the Shield or something whenever we put him in it.
There's no plans for Blade to show up in the MCU for a while.
Right.
yeah. Well,
Regardless,
the other thing too to keep in mind is it's a it's a smart move. I mean, like it's I love Marvel content as much as anybody else. The whole all new, all different Marvel is kind of weird, but like a lot of those writers are around our age, maybe a little bit older. Depending on who you talk to. What's his name is actually younger than us. Who was the guy that was writing Marvel Now's Guardians of the Galaxy before they took him off? It was Sam
Humphries?
something. Humphries, yes. Sam Humphries, I think, is actually younger than us. Younger than you and me, Sal. Like, I think he's in his late 20s.
With
He's
a
a good
name
writer.
like that, I assumed he was like 65 and had a big white mustache. And
No, he's
creators are in there
at least he seems like
I
a
know.
young guy.
Sam Humphries, come on.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting because with them being around our age, or assuming that they are, they're growing up with the comics that DC's bringing back. And so they
Yeah.
get to just write the stuff they loved as kids, and it's a great opportunity for them. And so I can see a lot of writers being on, being so, yeah, let's do this, man. Like let's write this stuff because these are the comics that I grew up with. These characters, these are the stories. Let's just write this. Whereas with all new, all different Marvel, it's just kind of like, well, I mean, like, but these aren't the characters I grew up. I don't care. Write the damn story and send it out. And I imagine that's not the general attitude, but I wouldn't be surprised if in some form or fashion it came off that way. And and that's why I don't know if you guys have been looking at the sales. I mean, it's nuts. It's an absolute murdering.
Yeah.
If you've been looking at the Marvel
someone
versus
posted
DC
me some
sales,
stuff last night.
dude, DC has been crushing it with comic sales. It's insane.
Rebirth has done really, really well, which
Yeah.
is funny because it was the exact opposite with DCU. It's like sales were in the toilet. This is how quickly things can change in the comic industry.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people want. I mean, people want stories that they like. They want accessible stories. I mean, your average person who's like, hey, I just saw The Dark Knight Returns, or I just saw, Justice League, or Justice League's coming up, or something like that. They're just like, oh, I just want to read some Justice League stuff. They don't really care what's in it per se. They just want to read it, and as long as it's good, they'll keep reading it. It's the hardcore fans who are like, I want to see the old school Batman. Granted, the hardcore fans are that much of the industry, but still,
Yeah.
people want to,
Us in this room.
yeah, they want to see some older stuff, and so like I said, I think it's a smarter move, for Tim Seeley rather to move away from Blade, which was basically like
Yeah.
a dying comic anyway, and to jump on DC Rebirth. Honestly, man, I'd jump on that hype train, to be quite frank.
Oh, yeah. Great.
But
I do dig his work, and I do wish him the best. Now, moving on from there to another thing, not to dogpile on Marvel. I swear I didn't make it out to be this way, but Civil War 2 #5 will be postponed weeks now. We won't be getting it until like September 17th, and because it's been pushed back, they gotta push back everything else to go with it.
welcome to the
I'm
world of Civil
shocked.
War,
Yes.
guys.
Who'd have seen this coming except for everybody?
Well, Ulysses, certainly.
Yes, why didn't Ulysses warn us?
Yeah. I mean, welcome to the world. That's cool because now it gives me a chance to do fillers for the lead up to Civil War. And the funny thing is, it's only 9 parts. It's not like the great. No, it's not even 9 parts. Is
7
it?
parts.
7 parts. Yeah, it's not even the
Technically
longest
more
thing
when
ever.
you count 0 issues and special comic book days.
Man, those don't even count, man. Okay, those are guys who are watching
This
this
time
right
they
now.
kind of did.
If you want to read Civil War, like just read Civil War. Like
Yeah.
it's not like Civil War 1 where it's like you kind of need to read the tie-ins to understand what's going on, because you'll pick up Civil War 2 and be like, wait a minute, what happened? Like Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Like you get halfway through and you're like,
Exciting incident with Thanos is in the special free comic book day issue.
well, the inciting
Yeah.
incident with Thanos is explained during. It's also explained during Ultimates. Like that's kind of where they delve it. But nonetheless, like even then, you don't really need to know that. You can just pick it up and just be like, and this thing happened. Like these two panels happened in a previous comic, and now we're off to the races. You know,
Yeah.
like it's man, I don't know. Comics always get delayed as par for the course, but
It's unbelievable. And so as a result, as we said earlier in the chat, they're adding another chapter just to try and like
Just like Secret Wars.
yeah, they're like, oh well, here's another issue. Here's more of this book no one really enjoyed.
Right?
The thing that I understand is the reason why it's being delayed is because David Marquez, the only good part about the book, is just had a baby and it's super delayed. Like he just it derailed everything, and
Okay.
That's fair.
Damn
Like,
children.
fair.
well,
That's fair.
no, see, that
If
doesn't
only
make a
they
lot of
had
sense
just-
to me.
Well, if only they had just done that thing that I suggest they do every time they do an event, which they plan at. It's not like they do an event where they go like, "Oh my God, 2 months ago you sowed the seeds of this really cool idea, so let's start doing the event now." They plan the event years in advance, at least 8 months to a year in advance, which means they have 8 months to a year to plot out and plan out this event. So choose the artist and then have the writer, who's Bendis, who writes 12 books a year.
It's
like,
true.
12 monthly titles a year, script it, give it to the artist, and the artist's job is to draw the event
Yeah.
8 months ago.
No,
So that when it comes out, it's out.
It wasn't
and
it wasn't
done.
8 months, dude. It was like 3 or 4. Like Axel
I'm-
Alonso went out and said it was 3 or 4 months to plan out Civil
Sal
War
saying
2.
in general how
Oh,
you
in
would
general,
do it.
okay.
General
I'm sorry.
events usually take like about 8 months to plan out,
Yeah.
or at least like because they have to go to they usually hash out their events at their summit meetings,
Mhm.
and it's like, fine, get ready and do it, and give them that job, and just pay them whatever like losses they'll have, because like the interesting thing we were talking about how like it's all connected here. DC is outselling Marvel right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Marvel doesn't need to outsell DC anymore because number one, they're owned by Disney, but number two, and more importantly, their job is to be Marvel and continue to be a house of like
Ideas.
to continue to be an oil well for Disney to draw precious life-giving petroleum from. Like all Marvel needs to do is just not shit the bed and they'll be fine. Like, because and they don't need to like they can objectively they can lose money because they make money for their parent company.
Yeah.
As opposed to DC where it's like DC has the same problem, but as an added bonus they're like also a comic book publisher and they like want to make these books people want to read. And it's kind of unbelievable because it was only a few years ago that it was literally the opposite.
Well, like I would even take that a step further. That it's not really even that Marvel needs to make money. It's just like Marvel like write comics so that we can make movies out of them at some point in time. So like we will have a huge supply of stuff to make movies out of, or Netflix series or something along those lines. And that makes sense to me. Oh wow. I have a very hard time reading that name.
It's green against white.
Yeah, it's difficult to read.
Drunk Bidizoma.
But he donated $10. Thank you so much. Like
Thanks,
That's
man.
awesome.
that's
Thank you.
really awesome. Like we really appreciate that. That's badass.
Yeah.
It is-
I'm sorry if we butchered your name.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
apologize.
it's no if.
It's no
Like,
if. It's,
we're
yeah,
just, we're just gonna
it
call
did
you
good,
Bede.
sir.
We're just gonna call you Bede just to just to solve that problem. But
Because you're our friend, that's what we'll call you. We're chummy like that.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's and to me it's weird because like one, pregnancies don't like we're not an alien race. Pregnancies don't happen in 4 months. Pregnancies happen in 9 months. So
Right.
it's not like
Thank
Marvel
you.
didn't know. It's not like, oh, by the way, my wife is pregnant. Like I would if I were sitting down and writing a comic book story, I'd say, hey, look, like we need an artist, we need a writer. Okay, well Bendis is the writer, and even if the apocalypse is coming and meteors are crashing down from the sky, he will continue writing about Riri Williams because by God he made her, and that's just how it's going to be.
Yes, because he created her.
Because he created her, you know. So it's like, okay, Bendis,
I was
you get
just
to write.
reviewing that issue before we got in here today, actually.
Yeah, it's like, Bendis, you get to write Civil War 2. Okay, cool. I get to write like a Civil War title, something with Civil War in the name. It's gonna sell, and I want my name on that shit because Hickman got to write Secret Wars. So like, I want to do this.
And screw that guy.
Yeah,
No one
and
gets
so
in
then-
the Ultimate Universe but me.
And so then the next question is, well, who we're going to get for an artist? Well, I mean, does anybody have anything that would keep them from being able to draw this book for however long it takes Bendis to write it? Well, my wife is
7
pregnant.
months.
Yeah, well, my wife is pregnant. Okay, you're off the list. Anybody else? Like, I mean, because
Well, you better suck it up then with your pregnant
Or you
wife.
have to know to get ahead of it. Like if you're like, okay, I know that give or take a few weeks, this is about the time where like things are gonna get crazy for me. I have to get ahead of my pages
Right.
so that there's no delay in the
Yeah.
book.
If you want that job that badly.
Yeah, like if you're like, no, this is the team, then like you have to figure out the schedule that works for that.
Yeah.
what? Hold on, what? Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Rob's seen something.
Oh my god, what?
Somebody donated $100.
Whoa.
Holy
They're a
shit.
generous person.
Dude, Bede donated $100.
Bede making it
What?
rain.
Oh
us
my
in here.
God,
Is
make it rain.
that the most that's ever been donated?
Well,
Splooge,
Definitely.
splooge, splooge.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Wow,
gotta
there's
splooge
some
it.
serious splooge. Hold on a second.
Yes, yes,
Wait, hang on.
making it rain.
Oh.
That didn't work very well.
Big smell.
Rain on faith, everybody.
Well, A for effort. I tried. I
I feel
definitely
like you should have
tried.
confetti falling from the sky right now.
Wow.
I'm gonna have that on a GIF.
Oh wow, that's insane. Wow, B, we really appreciate that. That's
That's
nuts.
crazy.
You
Wow.
a dude, man.
Rob's dead. Make sure
Rob's dead.
everybody press F to pay respects. Just type F
You know,
in the
Benny's
chat.
not even gonna believe us when we tell him about this. Like, yeah, you were gone, and someone donated $100.
Yeah. Do not come back,
Yeah.
Benny. Stay away. Wow.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
That's
Um,
good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
that's yeah. We really
Wow.
appreciate that. That's awesome.
You're our boy, Bede. You're our boy. Or I assume boy. You could be a girl. You could be anywhere in
Yeah.
between. Either way, thank you.
But yeah. So it's to me it's a weird thing because when I would set precedence on getting comics out in a timely fashion over, in conjunction with writing a good story over anything else, because in the world we live in right now, like, it's literally things disappear super fast. And Civil War
Yeah.
2, I think it's a pretty good story. I mean, I like what Bendis is doing with it. It's got its ups and downs, and it's kind of iffy.
There's some smart ideas going on in there. I'd like to see them explore.
Exactly, but the issue with this is they're literally competing against DC Rebirth, which is probably the best event DC's had. And wow, somebody donated more money.
It was Bede
Bede.
again.
He
Bede?
got another $50. He says, "I love this guy.
Jesus,
Wow.
Bede,
Yeah.
You that guy."
Bede, man,
That boy Bede.
that boy
He's
Bede,
the real MVP.
them gains. Wow, jeez, I don't know I don't know how to respond to that.
I know.
Like, I don't know
All
what
this
to say to
money
that.
being
Yeah, you
thrown
almost
around,
already
I
killed
think.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now what do you do?
I
What you
already
gonna do to
almost
top
died.
it?
Wow.
You almost died.
Okay. I mean, the only thing I know to do, I've got a free copy of my book. That's the only thing I know to do is I can send you a free
Ooh,
copy
yeah,
of it if you're
and
interested.
sign it to him.
But yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I'll put a personal note on the inside, and sign it. Yeah, and send it to you. Send me an email or send me an email. Send me a message on Twitter with Comics Explained at Comics Explained, and send me a message. We'll work it out somehow. Send me an email.
That sounds real
And
nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'll get your
yeah.
address and
Do
send
it.
it off to you. So,
Read into the pages of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vape all over the book.
vape all over the book. Yeah, it'll smell like vanilla custard. Wow!
Smells like
Holy
raw.
shit!
Oh my
He just
God.
donated $200.
What are you
Are you-
doing?
Are you for man?
Wow!
That's next. Jeez.
What the fuck?
Man, if we find out later Bede knocked over a liquor store just for us, I'm gonna feel really touched.
I'm not. I'm gonna be like, thank you, Bede. That's awesome. Wow. I mean, it's not cool if you knocked over a liquor store. You shouldn't do
No.
that, But
This show brought to you by the support of people like Bede.
People like Bede, man. This is nuts. Jesus.
He is literally making it rain up in here.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's laundering the cash. Wow. And he donated $50 more
Oh
again.
my god!
Ah!
Wow.
Mind just continually blown.
Bede,
Well,
man.
do you have some sort of wealthy benefactor we don't know about?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I don't know. Like this literally just turned into
The most lucrative stream
This
we've
is
ever done
nuts.
ever.
wow.
I feel like we should just whatever he wants us to talk about is what you
Yeah.
should talk
Okay.
about.
Okay, Bede. What do you think we should talk about? Just
You're basically a producer. I wrote up some news, but screw that. What do you want us to
yeah,
talk
Bede.
about?
What do you want to talk about, man?
That's insane.
Wow.
All this
Hey,
money.
we got a subscriber.
Yeah, and RJ Cone 23 just subscribed. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks a lot, RJ. We really appreciate it, man.
Like
Yeah,
all
bro.
this money being thrown around, I feel underdressed. I feel like I need a monocle and a top hat now.
We all need
Wow.
bow ties.
That's right. No, that's somebody else's gig.
Hey, that was my
this-
history teacher's gig back in the day.
Yeah,
That's
RJ,
cool.
man, like, yeah, splooge, like, yeah, we
There you
really
go.
appreciate that, guys. I mean, that's, wow, that's crazy.
And
And
he's gonna be like, "What did you do while I was gone?"
Dobbs just subscribed for 3 months in a row. Wow,
Yeah.
that's nuts. Yeah. Okay, so did Bede ever reply on what he wanted us to talk about?
I didn't see one.
No. But if
Okay.
he does, we'll try to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
You got that, mods? That's your job.
Yeah, mods. When he if he posts up and says something like what he wants to talk about, then
We'll do it.
yeah,
Alert us.
let us know.
I guess moving on then. Hey, remember that Vixen show that they did for CW? It was solid enough, but they cut up a 22-minute show
What?
into
Dude, this
5
guy
minutes.
just
What?
donated $500.
Hot damn. That's wicked. I don't even. I got no words. I just.
No.
I used up all my excitement. Now I'm overexcited.
I don't. Yeah.
That's the problem with excitement. Once you hit it, you can't go further.
Yeah, you reach a threshold. Like, it's
Yeah.
Benny in disguise.
I would not. I was thinking that like a couple $100 ago.
Yeah.
But I don't even think he would push the joke this far.
Wow.
If he did, he's a cruel,
King
cruel
Bede.
man.
God King.
King Bede. I like that.
That's crazy.
Well, they
That's
like what we're
insane.
doing, so I guess we should just keep going.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that Vixen show. Did anyone actually see that, or was I the only one?
Nope, didn't
Yeah,
watch it
I-
once.
It wasn't bad, but they cut a 22-minute show into 5-minute chunks for absolutely no reason. That's getting a second season, but they've announced they're going to be doing a new thing now for CWC. It's a brand new animated series. It's called Freedom Fighters: The Ray, and it's going to be a series focusing on The Ray, that DC guy who shoots light, who's not Green Lantern.
Yeah, I remember the Ray. I remember in the 90s they did a big push for the Ray. Didn't work out, but
Yeah, he's in the background of many Justice League episodes.
yes. He's almost like Aztec.
Yeah, they've given him a great new costume redesign for this show, and they're also pushing that he's going to be their first gay hero.
Oh, they're gonna make him gay?
They're gonna make him gay. Ray is not gay in the comics, okay, but
No, he's not.
He's not. But,
Tiffany's
you know,
looking at the exact same thing I am.
Yeah.
This guy's like, can I donate $1,000?
Yeah.
Bede, you can donate
like,
whatever you want to,
You
man.
can do
It's
whatever
just-
you want, man.
I would
It's
feel bad
weird.
to say yes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like we need to get Benny on the phone. Benny, what should we do in this situation?
Benny! Benny, what do I do?
Benny would be like, fucking let him donate, man.
What are you doing?
Wow. That's nuts.
God damn.
Yeah, I'm
But,
sorry.
yeah.
No, I never watched one episode of the Vixen show.
No.
It was
me
only
either.
one
I heard they
episode.
split up like an actual episode of a cartoon that already like moves lightning fast. And tried to split it up. I remember when the Clone Wars cartoon show was like 3 minutes apiece. I was
Yep.
like, no, we're not gonna do
It was
that.
like that. I mean, it wasn't bad. I think it's cool that they're doing the Ray. It's interesting that they put Freedom Fighters on it. So is this like the Uncle
Joel,
Sam?
shut up and stop talking. Dude. This guy donated $2,500.
Oh, you were crunching the numbers.
No.
No,
he-
just now.
A-
just-
oh, smooth.
Wow. Thanks again. I don't know how I can be more grateful. Rob's getting on the phone with his accountant right now. We gotta call this in.
Yes.
What does the cat think about this?
I don't know. I didn't know what to do.
So I grabbed a cat.
So I just grabbed a cat.
When in doubt, grab a cat.
That's right.
This is
Hey.
going to be a great episode for people to listen back to.
Right?
What are
Just
you
these
doing right now?
random moments where no one's saying anything.
Because we're in shock and awe.
Yeah.
Well, Rob's buying a houseboat now, so.
B just donated $10.
And said, I'm not trolling.
And $10.
I had to let the cat go. He's getting fur all over me.
Yeah. It's summertime.
It's true.
Rob's gone.
Rob's gone.
Rob's gone.
Rob's gone. Guys,
Rob AFK.
Splooshed himself into nothingness.
guys, I don't know what to do. Rob's gone.
Should we keep talking about the Ray?
I guess we should. We can move on from the Ray.
Hooray.
Okay, looks interesting. It's interesting that no one pitched a fit about him being gay, mainly because no one knew enough about the Ray to be insensitive about it, which I find funny. But onto some more TV stuff there. They cast Mirror Master for the 3rd season of The Flash and Dr. Alchemy, who seems to be the overarching villain of it. Much like how they got Candyman to voice Zoom in the last season, Tobin Bell is going to be the voice of Dr. Alchemy this season.
Yeah.
Oh.
That name sounds familiar. What do I know that name from?
He's
Oh,
the
you-
Jigsaw guy.
Yeah, he's from, Saw.
Oh.
He's the I want to play a game.
You want to play a game?
I think he also played like an evil Nixon president on 24. He was the record store guy in Seinfeld. He's had a rich career, Tobin Bell.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
He's
Yeah.
a respected character
Why not
actor. I'm all for it, and the fact that they make Dr. Alchemy basically look like Dr. Death is fitting that they get him to do the voice.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Ordered Saturn for subscribing. Welcome to the fold, man. Thank you so much.
We don't have anyone to splooge.
No, but splooge.
That,
I'll give you a
not
good
like that.
shot.
Never like that.
What?
Never underhanded. Always overhanded.
You ruined the whole thing.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
Rob, how you doing?
Huh?
Splooge.
No!
What?
Don't two-handed! You gotta...
Good phone call there, Rob.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I decided to make a quick phone call.
Yeah, we were just talking about how Tobin Bell will be Dr. Alchemy for
Which is
season
like
2.
so totally awesome.
It is, and we're getting Mirror Master now, so that's all the rogues now for the show accounted for, except for maybe like the top. That's all the main rogues in the Flash show now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which means we're that much closer to getting the big rogues rebellion where they all come together, Sinister Six style, to kick the Flash's ass, and that's
Oh,
going
right.
to be great. Also, supposedly for this season, we're supposed to be getting like a 2-parter based on Gorilla Grodd and Gorilla City.
Good. Finally. Free
That'll be
night.
interesting.
We were going back to Gorilla City. I'm like, yes.
That's isn't it amazing that the movies can barely do Superman and Batman in a way that pleases everyone, but the TV shows are doing goddamn Gorilla City.
Well, you know, when you have an actual amount of time to develop your
Yeah,
worlds
character
and
and time
characters,
and-
it's amazing what you could do.
Yeah. Also, when you're like seemingly like given a like carte blanche, to just do a Flash show, and they're like, "Well, we're just doing Flash. Like, we're not going to screw around. We're not trying to." They're not trying to do. It's amazing how they're not deliberately trying to do universe building,
Yeah.
but through characterization and plot and story, they wind up creating a universe.
Yep.
Yeah.
A very deep and rich universe. I mean, geez, season 3 is going to be Flashpoint. We're doing alternate worlds now.
Well, see, doesn't
I
it
mean, I'm
say
still-
something? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm still blown away by the season finale reveal from a while ago of like the newspaper that said "Crisis."
Right?
I was like, whoa! Like
they
that's
said it.
already
They
kind of
said
amazing.
the thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
They did the
Well-
thing, and it was great.
I mean, doesn't that
Anyway,
say something
that's-
about the Flash, though? I mean, if they're literally if the Flash is at this position where it's just like, hey man, just do whatever you want, just write whatever stories
Yeah.
you want to. I mean, doesn't it just talk about how awesome the Flash TV show is? And that
True.
to me, that's the kicker. That's the kicker to all this. Like, With a show like The Flash, which is, as far as I understand it, universally considered to be the best comic book based TV show out there right now, and one of the best shows
I'd be okay with
available. Yeah, I mean, it's because as far
I'm
as
sure
I'm
some
concerned,
people
it
would
is.
argue like The Walking Dead or something like that.
Well, yeah, The Walking Dead. Yeah, I guess comic book shows is largely. Yeah, I guess The Walking Dead is more popular because it's based on the comic.
That's
But
the
in terms
biggest
of,
comic book show ever made.
yeah, so like so the general
Biggest superhero one.
Yeah, so yeah, biggest superhero comic book show on the market right now is The Flash, and I would say DC. If I were them, if I were Warner Brothers, I'd take a page out of that. Like,
Please.
honestly, I'd drop movies because you got to think about it this way. You know, how much money did Batman versus Superman cost? Like, we could just average, say, $300 million.
Millions.
You know, probably cost more than that.
Yeah,
but-
it was a couple. It was a couple $100 million.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So we could, okay, for the sake of argument, or while you're looking it up, we could say $300 million, you know, and call it a day. But what I would say is, you know, why have all that money dropping those huge movies when you could just turn around and, you know, produce a ridiculous TV show?
Because you
Yeah.
want the prestige of movie making is what you want. You don't want to lower yourself to those TV plebeians when you could be making movies.
Yeah, I'm sure it has to do with prestige. Like, you know, like what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If Disney's doing it, Warner Brothers has to do it. Let's be honest, the Disney Warner Brothers like rivalry has been going on for way before like Marvel and DC got on board.
Oh, yeah.
It was Looney Tunes versus Mickey Mouse and stuff.
Exactly, and we're just
Yeah.
kind of in the same place.
Yeah.
Okay, so it costs
I'm paying attention to what's going on in the chat right now.
somebody said it cost $400 million to make.
That
was
sounds
two-
about right.
The budget was 250. My guess is they probably spent another
What?
$200 million on advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently B just dropped $5,000.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Well.
I like Muroma. Stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Oh, hey, Teddy just subscribed. Thanks, man.
Thanks
Thanks a
you.
lot, Teddy. We appreciate it, man.
Apparently, we have a big fan following in the, what is it, somewhere in Colombia and in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
A lot of money to
Somewhere
throw.
in the Caymans. It's like, well, it's not mine, so.
Wow.
Too hot today.
Yeah, what we don't know is that Bede is actually that Nigerian prince
Yeah.
and,
The guy.
and spending
It's like,
everybody
no,
else's
take
money.
me up on my offer. I have all this money. I might as well just give it to you guys.
I imagine
Yeah.
some Scarface dude sitting on like a pile of money with a gold-plated AK-47. Time to watch the weekly pull. I
Yeah.
love their comic talks. It's the only thing that gets me through a day. You're in the jungles of Colombia.
But yeah, no,
uh,
like okay, so you're talking about a movie that's it's $400 million to make. You're talking about you know, how much money did it make overall?
Like
Oh,
nine something. It
okay.
didn't crack the
So-
billion which they wanted.
No,
it
it
to.
made, I think worldwide, it made somewhere like 870,
Okay,
but not a billion.
so they
They were
roughly
projecting
doubled.
a billion, but they didn't hit it.
Yeah, so they made their money back, plus they got, you know, equal to what they spent. So they came out on top by $400 million. Like, why? I mean, that's a great profit, sure, but it's Batman versus Superman. I mean, that movie was going to make money, regardless of how it rated.
Regardless.
It was going to make money. The real question to see here is, what will Justice League do? What will Aquaman
Yeah.
do? What will Wonder Woman do? That will be the test because, you know, granted, those are big characters and the Justice League is huge. And the Justice League will probably do as well as Batman versus Superman, but Aquaman's not Batman or Superman. Wonder Woman is not Batman or Superman. And as cool as it will be to see those movies, I don't see them making the same amount of money. And so
The
I'd
Flash that makes me wonder because it's like you're getting them free on TV.
yeah.
Yeah, and you're getting a richer, more like it's not going to be as big and as spectacle, but where else are you going to see freaking Grodd and King Shark?
King Shark.
Yeah.
I'm a shark, I'm a shark, I'm a shark.
Honestly, I mean,
Alright.
I would dump that money into high budget TV shows, into high end TV. I mean, instead of you know, because the way it looks right, I think The Flash was an accidental success. To be honest,
Yeah.
you know, I think that Warner Brothers made it and like, well, let's just make a Flash TV show, whatever. And it's like,
All the planets seem to align.
yeah, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
this is really, really popular. But when you look at The Flash for what it is, it's still a pretty low budget show. You could see that when like Barry Allen runs and it does those close ups on his character, it's clear that it's not the highest end of CGI. And for a TV show, you wouldn't expect it to be. But
You
why not?
forgive it because they do so much else
Yeah,
right.
you forgive it because because the plot's good. You forgive it
'Cause you're
because the
into
characters
it.
are cool. You know, because you love everything else that's going on. It makes it such a great show. But
It's that old Doctor Who effect. You forgive the crappy special effects in 60s Britain because you were cool with the stories and the characters and everything.
exactly.
Yeah.
So why not just take that cash and just dump it into a great TV, like just boost up that TV show? But maybe it's one of those things where we love the TV show because it is, you know, relatively low end in terms of budget, you know, and special effects. But that's offset by the fact that the characters are just so cool. The characters have to
Right.
stand out to offset the lack of effects. And would you lose that combination if they beefed up the effects? So they said, hey, let's, you know, we're spending, you know, however many $1 million. Like, we need more Flash close-ups. We need more face-ups of the Flash, you know, to justify the spending of this much money. You know, like we need more of like these CGI villains, you know, to basically make it worth our while to have these CGI special effects. Instead of using them sparingly, we have to use them all the time. And the result
Right.
is that you move away from what makes the show so cool and interesting. So I guess maybe it'd be kind of a catch-22. But, you know, for
Yeah.
me, I feel like with the movies that DC is throwing out right now, yeah, they're pretty solid. You know, I'm really psyched for Wonder Woman. But I feel like what they're doing is they're trying to play catch-up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And they always will be.
Yeah, and it's one, it's too late for that, and two, they shouldn't. You know, like you don't do the same thing somebody else has done. You do your
Yeah,
own.
do
thing.
your own thing.
Yeah, and so what I would do if I were them is I would say, okay, well, let's invest our money in one, animated movies, and two TV shows. I mean, imagine if you had a legitimate, high-end, extremely well-produced, well-acted, well-casted Supergirl show. I would have
Right.
turned it off after the pilot and never watched it again, like, because that's what I did. You know, I
Yeah.
was like, you know, I mean,
I watched the crossovers. There's some stuff the Supergirl show does really well. Like Banshee looked perfect, like comic perfect. And I'm like, why is Banshee looking so good?
yeah, but like,
What business does she
I-
have of that?
man, I watched that show, and it's like, well, hey, I'm a really attractive white chick, and I have to struggle with life. No, you're Supergirl.
guys,
Like, she's a
in
comic
the-
book character designed to be extremely attractive. She's not going to struggle anywhere, unless somebody runs up on her with green kryptonite. She's going to be fine. You know.
In season 2, apparently, we're gonna get another Flash Supergirl crossover, and it's gonna be a musical, apparently.
I hear
What?
they're thinking about bringing in Whedon for something.
Cause who else could do it but Whedon?
Weed and
I mean, you know, that's the kicker. Supergirl's not a bad character. Supergirl, I think, is a character that's been underutilized in comics, but Supergirl is a great character. Like, Crisis on Infinite Earth Supergirl was badass. She was literally the only one that could take on, like, the Anti-Monitor and
Anti-Monitor,
do like,
yeah.
some damage. She's like, you know what, fuck this, and just wailed on the guy. I mean, it was like the epitome of her character. When people think about Supergirl, they think of Supergirl with the red bandana beating the hell out of the Anti-Monitor. At least those of us, you know, that you know, remember that far
That
back.
read that
you know,
stuff.
that read that stuff. Like
Yeah.
like people, that's what people. That's classic Supergirl that people love. And like I want to see the badass Supergirl. Like I want to see the Supergirl that's like, hey, I'm like Wonder Woman, except like 100 times better. Like I want to see that Supergirl. Like that's the one that I want to see. But
I
that's
think
not,
we'll
that's
get
not what we
closer to that in season 2 now that it's on the CW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not what we get. What we get is, well, you know, I'm a girl trying to find her way in the world, and you know,
It was two
it's a
very
rough
different
life,
type
and,
of
you know.
shows. Even after they came back from the second rollout of episodes, from here are the 10 we banked and here's the 10 we did after that, you could tell that
Right.
show was still very much trying to find its place. Where it's like, well, maybe we'll market it to older women. Well, okay, maybe we will market it more to comic fans. We'll bring in Martian Manhunter and we'll do this, that.
It's a cool idea, and he looked great.
It's true.
It was. I remember reading somewhere that they announced like, don't worry, Supergirl fans, turn when the show comes to CW, and I was like, oh, great.
Well, but see, to me, it should be able to stand on the character. It should be able to stand on the nature of that character. Like, it should be able to stand on the Supergirl character. You shouldn't have to inject a whole bunch of ancillary characters in order to make it matter. If it was literally like,
No.
if The Flash was a standalone show, like, I would watch that because I like the character of Barry Allen. Because, one, he's really interesting in terms of being funny, and two, because the stories they're cranking out are good. Now, maybe the stories being good are just a byproduct of the fact that you have ancillary characters. But the idea to me to create, okay, like, for example, Iris. All right. Iris in The
Yes.
Flash is amazing. Like, she's an amazing, like, the girl that plays her, Candace Patton, is an amazing actress, and the character of Iris is an amazing character because there's that chemistry. There's that, you know, will they, won't they kind of thing that goes on. I mean, we saw it at the end of
Moonlighting.
season 1. Like, well, will they get together? Well, no, they were, but now they're not because, you know, fuck you fans, that's why. You know, but
Because
like,
wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Because we got a create some tension. We got to get that drama going.
Yeah, but it's
Any
like
show.
that will they won't they thing is really cool. But even if you remove Barry Allen from the character of Iris West, she's still wildly interesting. She's smart. She's confident. She knows what she wants. Like that kind of thing is appealing to people who want identifiable characters. And with the issue of Supergirl, it doesn't come off that way. Like you literally got a girl who could punch the planet in half, and she's just like, well, it's just, I'm just, just the world is so confusing, and my boss
I
is
wish
so
my boss
mean,
respected
and,
me more.
Yeah, I wish people, like, why don't you just punch a hole through your boss? Why don't you just punch her head off her shoulders because you could, and you just fly her up to the sky, leave her in space, and no one would know. They would just be like, well, whatever happened to Calista Flockhart? I don't know. Just replace her with somebody else. I mean, it's like, give me that character. Don't make her a ruthless, cold-blooded person, but give me the one that's like, you know what? I don't need to take this shit, and she's just like, whatever, because I don't need to sleep. I don't need to eat. I don't need to
I'm
drink.
literally
Like,
bulletproof.
I don't need what this like. I don't need I don't need to make money because money can't buy me anything I can't get on my own. Like give me that character that is at the same time dependent on the world but removed from the world. Like
I
that's
can
the
crush
character
coal
that I
into
want.
diamonds if I tried hard enough.
Yeah, that's what I want. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What's next? Let's get out of here.
on further movie casting, because there was a lot of little casting that came out. Spider-Man: Homecoming is going to have the Tinkerer in it officially, and we know who's going to play him. I have never heard of this actor before. Maybe you guys have. His name is Michael Chernabog.
I might know the name, or I might know the face. I don't know the name, but I'm
I
so
looked him
glad
up.
to see the
I
Tinkerer.
recognized- I looked him up and I was like, oh yeah, that guy. He's been in stuff, but it's like you don't see him very like. Yeah, he's played unremarkable characters, but
Gotcha.
he's done a good job. As I understand, he's going to be playing a disaffected former Stark employee, and I'm like, and that's how they're going to link in Tony Stark. But he's
That's
like,
good.
he worked for Stark. He got fired during one tumultuous period in Tony Stark's history, which totally works and fits into the continuity of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so there you go. Like,
And now he makes gear for New York's costume
and he
criminals.
makes gear for New York's criminals. That's such a great idea.
Yeah, like
That's
what?
so cool.
See, this is cool to me because the Tinkerer, he's an ancillary character.
Yeah.
He's the night nurse, he's the Jessica Jones, he's the character that has like some really cool moments, but otherwise he's just kind of in the background. And
Well, he facilitates other criminals.
that's what makes it cool.
Yeah, he's just the characters in the background. Like the Tinkerer is this old man you never see who builds like really, really intricate, complicated, cool-looking supervillain armor.
Yeah.
And like, if only we could catch him. That's actually one of the best things that Bendis has ever done. Was Secret War, back when Secret Wars could be anything, and they were like, the Tinkerer is being funded by terrorists.
Yeah.
To launch domestic terrorism on American soil. I'm like, that's cool.
Makes
I'm like,
sense
all right.
too.
Being funded by Lucia von Bartis, I'm like, this is a badass idea. And you could easily fold that idea into the Tinkerer, like, it's yeah. I mean, like, the fact is we get Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's being connected with Stark. We're gonna see Tony in the movie. He's a former Star Trek employee. Like, it's already awesome, and I'm thinking forward, like, and maybe he will be funded by Lucia von Bartis. It'll be a backdoor into the Fantastic Four. Like, I'm getting too greedy. Like, let's focus on the fact that Tinkerer is cool, and I like the retconned origin.
Another cool thing I always dug about the Tinkerer, because he outfits everybody in New York. Everyone owes him money, so he actually has a little piece of what everyone does. And no one would ever rat out the Tinkerer, because if you rat out the Tinkerer, you're not going to get any more gear.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is I don't think Mac Gargan knows how to build a literal tale that responds to your thoughts. So.
Yeah,
you
get the next best thing. But no, like, here's why I think the Tinker is a great concept, or at least he's a great character to introduce into the MCU for a multitude of reasons. You could throw him into anything. You could throw him into Iron Man. You could have him be a villain of the Captain America character. But the reason why he works so well with Spider-Man is because Spider-Man's a street-level superhero.
Yeah.
Like, for all intents and purposes, he's just a street-level guy. He fights in New York. Yes, he's been part of the Avengers, whatever. But at the end of the day, home is where the heart is, and he is a street-level character. And because of that reason, it's great they're introducing other street-level characters into that. And this is where I think that Marvel's really, like, this is why I think that the Netflix thing, like everything influences everything else. Do I think the Tinkerer would have been introduced into the MCU if like the Punisher was not introduced into Netflix and hadn't been so well received, or if God, what's the name of the guy? The guy that plays Gladiator. He becomes Gladiator later on, but he was the guy that developed the devices for Matt Murdock in Denville. If he hadn't been successful or hadn't been introduced, would the Tinker have been introduced? And I would say probably not. But because those characters are so well received and they're on the street level, it in turn influences the movies. And I think that was probably Marvel's decision for introducing the Tinkerer. But even if it wasn't, all it does is just expand. It just shows you how big everything is. It's not just guys, fighting, invading forces on Earth. It's literally just a guy working in a shop that's building stuff for bad guys, for street level bad guys. And that is such a cool thing.
Can we take a minute and just laugh at Sony and how?
Oh God.
Okay, the Tinkerer, an old man who worked for Stark, who makes weapons. He's like getting back at Stark and the world that shunned him by creating super criminals that rob banks and just destabilize life and the local economy. That's such a better concept than Oscorp makes the Sinister Six costumes and just leaves them in their basement, and you use random spider venom to turn into goblin people who drop redheads into. Was that a clock? What the hell did she die in?
Something. Magic blood.
Oh, are you talking about Gwen Stacy?
Yeah, when they in the movie in Amazing Spider-Man 2, when
she fell through the clock tower.
Is it a clock?
It's a clock tower.
It was Willy Wonka's clock tower.
It was like Tim Burton designed that clock. It had like gears for days. It was like that fight Batman in the animated series with the Clock King.
Yes.
No clock has that many gears. The worst designed clock ever.
It was like a 10-story clock.
It's a Rankin and Bass clock.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it was like I was expecting a Christmas song to be emerging from it. But that said, just how Sony's like, we need to get the supervillains. Osborn made them all, and they're just all right there. And like Marvel's like, how about we just make it this guy? We have a character that literally can do that. And it's like, oh, thank you for having a thought in your head. And
you make it look so easy, Papa Marvel Studios.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you have like corporate people, like executives making movies about comic book characters who have probably never read the comic. Like I guarantee you, nobody at Sony knew who the Tinkerer was.
Oh God, of course not.
Like I would who's the Tinkerer? Man, nobody wants to see that stupid guy in a movie. Like just have Oscorp.
What happens when you let committees write a movie?
Yeah.
They're like the Tinkerer. That sounds stupid.
Yeah. But see that's why the MCU works so well, is because I think it kind of speaks volumes to the MCU that now they're just kind of in a position where they can just make not make them, they can just like introduce anybody and people are just like, oh my God, I can't wait.
They'll accept it. If they'll accept Ant-Man, they'll accept anybody.
They'll accept anybody.
Marvel has, like faith in their heroes.
Yeah.
And their characters.
And their characters in general, but like they don't feel like they have to have like a huge team or a huge name for the villain.
Yeah.
Because whoever they cast as that's going to do a great job, and they've got a good story, and they know
Make
that
it their own.
Yeah, and they know that their hero is strong enough to stand on their own.
Right. They don't have that problem where they're like, well, we use the name of the hero as the franchise, but we really pin it on the villains and how awesome they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a certain bat-shaped character.
Oh, sorry. It's up in my throat.
But, yeah.
I guess moving on from there to a piece of news that maybe only I'll care about. But hey, Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider comes back in November, everybody. I really loved that book. I'm glad it gets to come back.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. But, well, I wasn't expecting it until the S.H.I.E.L.D. announcement. I'm like, yeah, when are we going to get that book? Here it is.
Very soon. They were on the ball. Felipe Smith's like, I got the cover. It's all ready to go.
Yeah, man, I don't care. To be honest,
Robbie was so much fun. I liked him.
I'm not gonna pretend that I loved that series when it came out. We raked it over the coals on Off the Rack when it first came out. We read that first issue and we're like, this is not what I want to read. Yeah. And is it cool that Robbie Reyes is gonna be in S.H.I.E.L.D.? Freaking yes, because S.H.I.E.L.D. could use all the cool Ghost Rider characters it can get.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But and like, is it cool that it's not just gonna be Danny Ketch or Johnny Blaze? Yeah, I like that idea too, because like we've seen 2 Johnny Blaze movies,
and they weren't good.
We don't need any more.
Well, there's something.
Give Johnny time to rest.
Let him rest.
Let him rest until he can be properly brought into the Marvel universe. In the meantime, Like I'm cool with Robbie driving a neat car and setting it on
Yeah,
fire.
totally fine. I've always wanted, like, I always say this, but I've always wanted like an old cowboy Sam Elliott Ghost Rider book,
Oh.
or like even just like a one-off story, like a mini. That'd be fine. I've always wanted that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That would be fun.
Yeah. But like look, it's cool that they have enough faith they're gonna bring him back. I wonder for how long.
Yeah.
It seems like he just missed the cutoff for that Champions team because he's another new young Spider-Man-esque hero who feels like he should be hanging out with the Champions, but nope, he just missed the cutoff.
Yeah.
Right, well, there you go. Like, if they cancel his book and that's still going on, they'll just fold him into that.
Yep, exactly.
You know, I can imagine Robbie being like, fun, I don't want to be on your stupid Champions team. Me and Silk and that Blade girl from that book that got canceled and, like, maybe Alpha Big Time. We're going to form our own Young Heroes team. And you won't be invited.
Yeah.
That's fine.
They're like, okay, yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, cool.
And Kate Bishop will be on our team. Oh, no, she's actually headlining a Hawkeye book now. She's officially
She's
not
like-
a young hero anymore.
She's not. She just like looks at her phone. She's like, ignore.
But what are you going to call the team? Can we have Young Avengers? Ooh, you sure can have Young Avengers. It won't last forever, though.
No.
Oh, I like that. Order the Triad movie with Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, and Blade. I like that.
They're called the Midnight Suns. I want that.
Want
Yeah.
that?
Give like Michael
I'm
Morbius,
like,
introduce him
man,
in
wouldn't
Spider-Man.
that be a really cool. Okay, that's just okay. We're just being nerds now.
Yeah.
Because now imagining,
No, really?
I'm
Well, I wanna
still
see-
imagining Wesley Snipes, but dealing with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh my god.
Oh,
that-
dude, that
that
would be
amuses
so.
me a lot.
I used to have a whole franchise, and then they threw Ryan Reynolds at me.
Oh,
That's
dude.
exactly why I'm amazed they haven't brought in Blade back sooner, because it's already an established franchise outside of comic books. Imagine being able to say, look, Blade's back, everyone, and he's hanging out with Avengers.
Oh, dude, see, that's
Yeah.
what cracked me up. Like when Deadpool was released, people were like, "Oh my
I
god!"
think it's
like how
time
many
to
books are
recast
changing?
Blade.
Oh, God, certainly, yeah.
And I think the easiest way to do that is to just make female Blade. Like just do a girl Blade and don't show like movie Blade until later. And then have Blade show up and it's a different actor and you're like, oh, it's a different universe. Okay, whatever.
Idris
Are you
Elba
talking
is
in the movie?
Blade.
In the movies or shows or
And,
whatever.
and had this been a few years ago, that probably would have been Zoe Saldana.
Yeah. But she says yes to everything.
Yeah.
And we'll never forget where she came from.
Morris Chestnut, I think, would make a good Blade. He was the dad in the Kick-Ass movies. I think he would make a solid Blade.
I guess it helps if I unmute my mic. All right. So,
Yeah.
I was like, Rob's really quiet.
Rob-
NG
really
Demigod subscribed. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much for subscribing.
We only got 2 more pieces of news to get for everyone if we're getting antsy.
Yes.
Splooge. Do some splooge. No, I'm just gonna clean up my place tonight. But anyway, yeah. So okay, like it was funny when Deadpool came, when Deadpool came out, because people were like, "Oh my God, dude, comics are taking a total turn. They're releasing R-rated movies now." I was like, "Nope, they did that in like 1998 when they released
Yeah,
Blade 1."
Blade saved superhero movies with their R-rated movie.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you that because it's like weird to say.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
people don't think about it like that because then all those vampire movies came. So now Blade's a
Yeah.
vampire movie. It's not a comic book movie. It's
Right?
like the general public. You know what I mean?
Was that the first one that showed the Marvel logo where it was like, and you're like, what?
I want to say yes. I think it was that and
was.
then X-Men afterwards. It was like the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, that was.
That would make sense, but yeah, like it's I don't know. I mean, you know, for me, it's the whole like demon thing, dark demon thing, you're chasing down, all that kind of stuff. Never really resonated with me. The closest I ever got to that was Doctor Strange, just because I like seeing some of the crazy dimensions, you know.
Yeah.
But
And seeing his demon adversary's nightmare.
Yeah.
yeah,
Pumpkin Man. I
Dude,
never took Dormammu seriously.
Pumpkin Man. I took him. I took
Because
him
the 90s
seriously.
cartoon, right?
No, by the 90s cartoon, I'm like, this is so far off the rails, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Like,
It-
when Carnage was a minion of Dormammu, I'm like, okay,
They
just don't use Carnage if you don't want to do it. Like, well, he's a murderer. You can't. I was like, you can't have them shoot bullets. They can't punch anyone.
Nope.
They can't say kill, and no one dies in a Spider-Man story, and you want to put Carnage in your cartoon. Literally, purse snatchers use laser pistols,
They sure do.
and you want to put Carnage, who only murders people. He's like a shark. All he does is kill people and make little symbiotes.
He'll drink their life force.
Well, okay. I was kind of on the same fence about Dormammu, but then they released a Doctor Strange animated DVD or animated movie or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then I really dug that version of Dormammu. That said, dude, Sal, I will bet you a steak dinner
Okay.
in New York at New York Comic Con that the post-credits scene. No, because the movie comes out after that.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever comic book convention we go to after Doctor Strange comes out, I will bet you a steak dinner that the post-credits scene
Dormammu?
is going to be Dormammu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like I bet no,
Without a doubt.
I bet you that. Like I'm
It's
willing
the
to bet that's
Joker
true.
effect. You need the big villain for the second movie.
Yeah, because this villain that they're putting in this one, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah,
He has
I
a
have no
name,
clue.
too.
He has a name and I can't remember what it is, but like I'm pretty sure he's gonna be working with Dormammu, and that's what they're
Or he'll
gonna.
be a minion of Dormammu.
That's it. Like,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like through Dormammu, like.
Yeah, it's like
Games.
it's like making Steppenwolf the bad guy in Justice League because like it was leading to Darkseid.
Yeah.
Even though it's
Steppen-
like just do Darkseid. What are you doing?
You
I
gotta
mean-
like it, Steppenwolf. He's a stepping stone to the villain you want.
Right? I mean, they could do a like you know what Marvel's been doing and just keep teasing Dormammu, and like next time around, if they were planning on doing more than two, they'd do Nightmare and then they do Dormammu.
Dude, I want to see I want to see Dormammu show up, and the Avengers are like, Doctor Strange, what do we do? It's like, man, guys, we're fucked.
Yeah, nothing.
There's nothing
make
we
peace
can
with
do,
your maker.
guys.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to see like if Doctor Strange took off, if it really blew up, which I don't expect it to, but
Oh,
I
I
hope
think-
it
I
does.
think it will.
It could. It could.
They're
Very
like,
well.
they go, okay, we're obviously going to do Dormammu. We're going to triple the budget or whatever, and we're going to put Dormammu. He's going to look awesome.
Yeah.
But people are catching the Strange fever. They take Nightmare and like put him places. Like Nightmare deals with other superheroes, and it's like, what is this? Like, and you could do a whole you could do a whole Spider-Man movie of Spider-Man dealing with his demons and having to fight Nightmare. I'm not saying that's a good idea or
No,
one
that is
you
a good
could
idea.
do.
And then Doctor Strange can show up and they
Be
go
like,
on a fun
be like,
adventure.
Peter. Yeah.
No, see, the problem
that?
I'd have with that is the whole plot would come off like Doctor Strange just running around doing exorcisms, you know, and it would be it would be weird. Like
I need a young old sorcerer and an old
The
sorcerer.
power of Strange compels you.
You know what they gotta do? They gotta get Fantastic Four back, and then they can do Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, Triumph, and Torment, where we see Doctor Strange actually gain the title of Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
If they did that, I think Tiff would just be happier than anything if they were actually
I
able
think
to
I'd
do that.
die after that.
Man, you know
Like
what I
that-
would
that-
do?
Yeah.
If I were Marvel,
Yeah.
like, if Marvel got the rights back to the Fantastic Four, I wouldn't even put them in the MCU at first. I would just
Yeah.
do, like, Hickman's run and just be like, and this is the Fantastic Four. And people would be like, I'm down.
Take my money.
Yeah, like, I would
That's
do
what
that.
they do there, because you don't really see Doom as Doom there. Like
No.
you see Doom being a total jerk, and
But he's not a Fantastic Four villain.
no,
Yeah, no.
In that book.
no. In that book, he's just a magical contender.
Yeah,
he's just a dick.
They need to do it the same way they introduced Doom in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, where, like, Iron Man fought a couple of, like, minions of Doom, and then he returns to, like, Avengers Mansion or Stark Tower, and he's like, hey, Jarvis, or hey, Pepper, like, I just got back from a small Middle East or European country. Guess who I just fought? He rhymes with boom. And you're just like, what? Are we going to see Doctor Doom in this show? And then we do, and it's great.
We have
Good
fun.
times.
Yeah. If we lose if we disappear, it's because we lost power.
Yeah.
I mean, dude,
We're almost done. We got two left that we can just lightning round through if you prefer.
oh, yeah. That's
Two. So this first story here I put on here because I really assumed Benny would be back because this really affects me and Benny. We loved the shit out of Prez, that political satire put out by DC as part of DCU. They did 6 issues. They swore up and down we'll be back for volume 2 to finish it off. Nope, guess what? You don't get the last part of the story. Apparently they're not going to do it. Even worse, apparently the writer's saying is that the stories were done.
Yeah.
Hold on. So the
Like,
stories
oh, no,
are
it's
ready
over.
to print. They're just not going to print them?
Just not going to
That's-
print them.
That's
Why?
Can they
What's-
just?
That's so weird. You have
What
them.
a-
You paid for them.
Wow.
What a giant kick in the balls.
Well-
I loved Prez. It was on my top 10 list of last year. It sucks it won't get to finish.
That's disappointing.
Weirder still, Didio, when all of this was going on, when like that piece of news dropped and everything, he deleted his Twitter after that.
His whole Twitter?
Yeah, he's not on Twitter anymore, Dan Didio.
What?
I know, right? Weird.
Wow.
This story has layers to it. Like you
know
think
what?
just like, oh, Prez, little cult book, no one cares. Apparently, Dio cares.
Dude, I'm
If
waiting for
all-
this to blow up into something big, some just huge, something insane. Like it turns out that DC was just having people killed, and it's just crazy stuff.
That level of intricate.
Well,
With
hey,
all
you
the
know,
president's men.
Yeah, all
Prez
the
did
dude, all
predict the
presidents,
future a
man.
couple times. They predicted the Cameron thing, and they predicted the D's nuts thing. So maybe the book predicted something about Trump in the future, so they couldn't print it.
No, we can't do it. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, if it's all done, they don't want to print it. Just make it a digital exclusive.
I know,
Yeah, just
right?
release it
It
online.
costs you nothing at that point.
Yeah.
Tell you what, if you don't do that, I wouldn't be shocked if they found their way to the internet anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just saying.
they'll be released whether DC wants them to or not.
Exactly.
They'll find their way out
Just
there.
make some money.
And by the way, if it is dropped, if it is pirated, DC will then release it.
Of course. I will not publicly condone piracy where everyone can hear me talk, but I'm saying if it leaked out online, I'm a big fan of Prez. I'm gonna find a way to read it one way or another.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
And I guess with that, because I think only me and Benny were the ones really in love with Prez, the final piece of news here is Henry Cavill teased that we may be seeing the black Superman costume at some point in the future.
Dude,
Wait, does
I
that mean that the mullet will be coming along with
Oh
it?
my god. Okay, so I periscoped earlier and people were like, "Have you seen the black Superman?" And I was like, "You mean like the one where after he died and he came back?" And people were like, "Yeah." I was like, "I want to see Henry Cavill running around with a mullet. Like superhero in front, party in the back. Like I
That's
want to
right.
see that."
But see, what's great about that is then they can lighten his character up because he can be serious, but then he can just let his hair down
Yeah,
and just have a
and
good
just cut
time
loose and enjoy being
with
Superman
the
for a
JLA.
minute.
Like
Yeah.
it'll be great.
I just want to see Henry Cavill with a mullet. Like I
Right?
just want to see him, this British guy with a mullet.
Would make perfect sense. Snyder seems to be in love with all the worst aspects of 90s comics, so why not bring it to fruition now? Maybe he can do this, get his rocks off, and quit and let someone else have Man of Steel too, which apparently is also happening.
I'm kind of excited for how much control. I mean, you got Jeff Johns in charge, and you got Ben Affleck pushing forward. I kind of expect Snyder to quietly quit Justice League.
Oh, if they do Man of Steel 2, he will not be involved. Mark my words. It'll be Man of Steel 2, the do-over. We're sorry we wrecked Superman. Let's get it right this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. I just want to see the mullet. If they show him in the black, I mean, he'll be Superman Rebirth Superman when he first came back and he was wearing black. That's
Yeah.
what he'll be. But, or I guess not when he first came back. When the New 52 Superman died, and then the old Super whatever. When he was wearing the black costume in DC Rebirth.
Yeah.
That'll be what we'll see. He'll have the beard, and the whole 9 yards.
Of course.
But it doesn't mean that I still want to see the mullet. Like,
Right.
I want to see Henry Cavill.
We'll
in the
probably
mullet.
get it.
Henry Cavill, I know you play World of Warcraft, so you're into geek culture. If you happen to see this podcast,
Whoa.
one,
Wait, what side's he on?
I have no
Yeah.
idea. But one, will you tweet this podcast out? And two, will you subscribe to our podcast? And three, will you please petition and get the mullet? Just walk in there and just be like, I'm not doing anything unless I get the mullet. Like, dude, it can even just be like a wig mullet. I'd be okay. It'd look terrible, but it would be so cool to see. Like,
I'm not leaving my trailer unless I get a mullet now.
like I want to see that mullet. It needs to happen.
I'm sure we will.
Will he have the leg pouches though for the black costume? I mean, how accurate are we gonna go with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, we already saw what a black Superman costume looks like with Zod and everything in Man of Steel. They pretty much put it in there.
This is where he's totally trolling us, and he just made the picture black and white.
Yeah, it's just an Instagram filter.
What a weird thing with Superman too. Hey, we killed him in Batman v Superman, but he's in all the promotional material for Justice League, so he's coming back though. So really, there was no point in killing him at all because we're not even maintaining the illusion that he could possibly be dead.
Yeah.
Although we have seen a black suit Superman already. They made, like in the movies, in like his nightmare vision with skulls.
Oh,
Yep,
that's right.
Black suit. He's already wearing it.
Yeah.
And by the way, they made a great statue, to commemorate what a powerful and gorgeous image it is of Superman covered in skulls and death.
Standing on a throne of skulls.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Blood for the blood god, skull for the skull throne, Superman.
Something that no one would ever have greenlit like 10 years ago
Max.
or 20 years ago.
We live in interesting times, don't we, Sal?
We live in strange times. Man, I'm just hooked on the mullet. Like, I mean, okay, but in all seriousness, I think the idea of Superman in a black costume is cool. I think that's a cool thing. The costume, the blue and the underwear and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's Superman. But I always did love the costume. I always thought the black costume was really solid, and I'd love to see him wear it. I think it'd be awesome to see, because it would just be like, I'm Superman. I just came back from the dead, but I'd like to see like a little darker, grittier Superman. But
Because he
A
wasn't
little darker and
dark
grittier than the
enough.
one we already have.
no. I mean, like let's kill some folks. Let's just kill some
He's just
people.
the
As opposed to the
Not-
people he's already
Like-
as
killed.
opposed to the
Punish-
thousands of people he
No,
killed
like the
inadvertently.
Punisher Superman is what I'm talking about.
Did you see Batman v Superman when he punched an African warlord through not one but two walls?
Yeah, I know. I'm
Joel,
messing
he did
around.
not kill him, okay? They confirmed in an article in the Daily Planet that he did not kill him, so even though it would be fucking impossible,
So-
you're a hater, Joel. You hate those movies.
Your
You just-
bones would
no
turn to
reason.
dust when you got put
Joel,
through two walls.
You hater. You're a hater.
Is there
Yeah,
gonna be
Joel.
a moment Superman shows up in his black costume and Batman's like,
Oh, nice idea.
step
Mhm.
on my toes?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Wait, we should get a bat
Looking good, Clark.
on your chest.
Oh my god,
That's
Good.
a new
Can I
bat
touch
toy.
it?
dude, I'd love
She was
that.
with you.
Dude, I'd be Alfred, I'm
Alfred.
tired.
Alfred, I've been wearing this stupid thing all day at WonderCon.
I'm so tired,
You gotta
Alfred.
pick me up. Just come around the front. I know there's a lot of street vendors, but you gotta fight through it.
Bring the car around, Alfred. Bring the car. Dude, Sal, I will never forget that, man.
You don't have to. I find it.
Oh god, dude, I
And then he
love that.
attacked-
Yeah, he attacked. Yeah, he did. He attacked you. I saw it. I
was
watched it
gonna
happen.
attack
Sal got into a fight with Batman. Go figure.
It was year one suit Batman. He looked great.
Yeah.
I felt bad because he was like, all right. And I'm like, no, you look awesome. This is great. It's just funny because he was like standing at the top of a tall staircase just watching.
You had to be where I was.
Yeah.
To see.
Yeah, I'm like, you gotta watch the Vine. Watch my Vine of you.
Aren't I funny?
Isn't this hilarious?
Come on.
A vigilant protector, a lone vigilante watching
Sure.
over the
Think about it
con.
like this. Every loop I get is like a loop for you too.
Yeah, I'm promoting you, man.
Yeah.
I'm like your agent.
The bat.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, guys. Well, I think that kind of does it. Like we're not too far off. We're about a little bit over. I mean, I assume that we don't really have anything else to go over. That's about it.
Yeah, right?
That's the show.
Awesome.
it.
All right, guys. Well, like I said, I mean, if you guys, if you guys want to, it definitely is awesome if you guys subscribe. It really helps us out. It definitely helps out the Weekly Pull brand. It gets more emotes for you guys. I believe
Got a
there's
lot of fan
splooge.
support.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe there's like a splooge emote coming your all's way, so that when people donate, you can just
It's
spam
coming.
splooge. Yeah, like that kind of thing really helps out on the whole front for us. But yeah, I think next week. No, I'm sorry. I think next week Benny will still be gone. I think he has two things going on this week and next. So
Wow.
yeah. Hey Sal, do you want to post a link to that Vine in the chat?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Now
People-
that people
people are
want
asking
it,
for
now
it.
that you've built it up.
They have requested it.
I don't even know what my Vine address is.
That
Show
was
us what
me
you
talking.
got.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it. Hang on, Vine.
So, nobody wants to talk about Detective Pikachu?
No.
I know.
What?
It's a Pikachu. What can we
Detective
say?
Pikachu.
No, Detective Pikachu, that movie where Pikachu's gonna talk.
And voiced
The
by
first
Danny
one-
DeVito, isn't he?
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor. Yeah.
Detective
Hey
Pikachu.
guys, it's me, Pikachu. Pika Pika, let's solve a mystery.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's an idea and a half.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Can I be Detective Pikachu?
I can do this voice for a long time. Give me the money.
You know what? Just pay me in Pokemon. It's fine. You don't even have to pay me real money.
Right?
Pay me in Poké Dollars.
That's gonna be interesting.
Pokebucks.
Right? Whatever. Like they're gonna like solidify like a voice for Pikachu.
Yeah.
I'll be the voice of
Pay me
Pikachu.
in rare candies.
Right? Yeah, Rob as the voice of Pikachu.
So what I
That's
want
what I
to do
wanna do
here
here.
is Pika Pika.
I'd watch the shit out of that movie.
Mhm.
That sounds like a winner.
It'd be amazing. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be weird. The Detective Pikachu.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
fine.
watch it.
When was it?
Uh,
Oh, it was a
When it
while.
was-
This was last year.
I got it. Hang on, I got it right here.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go.
I'm the guardian of WonderCon.
All right, I can share it. I can tweet it. Or,
Okay,
hey, no,
guys.
wait, I only get the link here.
Speaking of WonderCon, and did you hear that crazy news story there that some dude wanted to sell like actual legit assault rifles at WonderCon this year?
I heard that they let him, and then everyone freaked out, and then he's like, "Oh, never mind."
Just replicas. I'll only sell replicas now. And I'm like, I cannot believe this is an actual story, that this is real things that are happening in the world right now.
Oh, this is America, man. You'd be amazed at shit that goes on here.
I
Put
guess.
it in there.
Yay!
Geez, you guys would die of boredom if you ever came to visit me in Canada, where it's like, what's happened today? Nothing
Mhm.
really.
I assume hockey and maple leaves.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Pretty
Cool.
much.
Dude, that guy gave you the stink eye when he came over, man. It was hilarious.
He got
Yes,
right
the
in my
night.
face. Batman was like right here, and I was like, "I love your costume," and he was like,
Yep.
and he left. And then I got a picture with him. Let me see if I can pull that up.
No, okay, no. Now, see, here's the story behind it. Sal initially didn't want to. I was like, dude, Sal, you should go get a picture with him. He's like, no, man. I was making fun of his. I was like, no, dude, go and get a picture with
Like,
him.
I feel like
He
I'd be
looks
rubbing
good.
it in. Like,
Hey, man, can I get a picture with you? Your costume's goofy as shit.
no, it was a cool
It
costume.
was an amazing costume.
It's just that he was acting like a goof.
Yeah.
And they say there's no true heroes anymore.
Oh man. But all right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode. Yeah. So we'll be back next Tuesday at 6
Right.
p.m. Do you guys have the poll going on this week on Thursday?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if you guys would or wouldn't. or
I
something like
assume
that,
so. I assume we're doing it.
Okay.
Yes.
I assumed as much, but I wasn't.
If we're
100% sure.
alive, it'll happen.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and yeah, I guess we will catch you all later. Peace.